Hi, y'all. Okay. How are you guys doing? Hope you are all doing great. Let me get back here. There we go. All right. So, last time I was here, we were talking about Eaton and Nielsen, and that we had gone back and pulled some some of their old cases and took a look at how they operate, like what makes them tick, what what makes them great at what they do. Um, if ever there was a man that made a great decision, it was Barry Morphew when he chose Nielsen and Eaton. That's the truth. Now, after my last live that I did, where I put the information out about these two women and the fact that, Linda Stanley is going to make a big mistake if she underestimates their capabilities. Um, it seemed to bother some of you guys, right? I I think and let me, before I go on with what I was going to say, let me follow up with this. There were some of you guys that bothered. Okay, trust me, I didn't enjoy finding out what my fear was, that it was had merit. I didn't enjoy reading about these two women, not just together, not as a team, but I mean their history apart from one another before they ever joined forces. Um, I, my heart sank. Let me just say that. The more that I learned about them, the more concerned I got about what is happening with this case. Now, so I'm with you. I'm. It's not good. If you're on Team Suzanne, this is not good news, right? The other thing, somebody somebody made a comment saying that they they like to come and listen to my videos related to the whole Bear Morphew thing. That they like to come and listen to my videos, um, it, to sort of be positive, right? To be uplifting and have hope that this thing is going to go well, and I get that. I do. I'm definitely a cheerleader, yay, let's go team, um, kind of person. But in this particular circumstance situation, uh, it's it's hard to do if you really dig into the facts, and you get a good handle on. It is cold, honey, Kay. It sure is. Try to stay warm. Um, but in this case, it is very hard to kind of be, rah rah, we're gonna get them. It's very. Um, and I'm gonna tell you this too. I can't decide which is more. I don't know which is more disturbing. I don't know if it's more disturbing that Nielsen and Eaton are so good at what they do, or if it's so disturbing that it appears, I don't know this to be fact. I'm only going by what's been public for everyone to see. Um, I don't know if I'm more disturbed by the fact that it doesn't look like the investigation was. I'm not sure it was well. I can't even say I don't think it was well managed. From the outside looking in, the fishbowl, it just seems like they overlooked a lot of details. it seems like they have a morale problem with the prosecution, and possibly with the police. I don't know. And that brings me to another point that I think I have to, I'm obligated to say this because it's morally the correct thing to say, and that is that we see the videos of the police cams, and you're just kind of cringing, right? Like you're watching the police do certain things, and you just want to be able to yell at them and say, no, don't do that, stop, move away from that bike. Right? Or how about that? How about, hey, we got a hoodie up here, maybe we should get it. Oh no, it's old, it's obviously been there a long time, so you don't collect it? That's crazy. So you can't really, in all fairness, Salida, Colorado, Chaffee County, it's not really a murder capital of the United States. That area where they live, the value of the property is in the multi-millions. They're not getting murders. They're basically prosecuting drug cases and divorces for the most part. So why would these people in the middle of nowhere, they get called out to an area that has the nicest, most valuable property in the county? Why would it occur to them that there would be a murder or a foul play? Why these cops are riding around on Friday night looking for one of the local teenagers drunk driving? They don't get called to an area where all the houses are over $1 million and the bicycle is right there in the corner, the wife of one of the big, wealthy guys in the community. They're not going through life suspicious of people, right? They're not. That's not what it's like to be a cop in Chaffee County. You're not looking for, you talk to people, well, like Duty Run, right? So you talk to people like Duty Run, law enforcement in New York City for years and years. But you go to work, you're paying attention. It's dangerous. It's dangerous for you, and it's dangerous for the other people around you. So yeah, you get a report of a missing person, and then there's a bicycle in a very strange location. Of course, you are immediately documenting and collecting evidence because you recognize things go bad. People do crazy things, but not in Chaffee County. It's a great, beautiful place. If money were not an option, I would move there tomorrow. It's gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous, truly. So you can't even be negative against cops because people do what they do, right? And they're cops in Chaffee County. They're not cops in, Chicago or downtown Houston, or, they're doing good at what they do. Not, they just weren't anticipating, the sheriff, or not the sheriff, deputy sheriff. The deputy sheriff, he was suspicious, but he'd been around more, right? He was one of the older guys. I found it very interesting that Miles' dad, you could see the wheels turning in his head as he's putting together, wait a minute, you got the bike and you don't have the girl. You could see as the realization is coming to him, right? And I heard some people, look, can I be honest? I do make, I basically speak freely. Who I am online, that's pretty much who I am, in my day-to-day life. And so I'm just going to speak frankly, because that's what I do. I just, if you're not honest about who you are, then people get to point their finger and say, oh, look, caught you in a lie. So you better be honest. And so in all honesty, I saw a few creators that used this police camera, and by far, for me, I thought one of the more interesting videos was of Miles coming out from Suzanne's house. He is notably shook. He is very nervous when he begins to speak to his dad, to the cop. But I mean, wasn't he a junior in high school? Right? He's a junior in high school. He knows that this was, how do I say this? But because of how close he had gotten with Macy and their family, he was well aware of the domestic abuse and violence that was occurring in the Morphew home. He knew nobody else out there that day searching. No one knew what Miles knew, right? That is a heavy, heavy burden for a kid his age. On the one hand, he knows what they don't know, and now Mrs. Morphew is missing, and he's scared. If Macy will tell her mom to get a restraining order, then I promise you Macy has cried on Miles' shoulder and talked about that. Correct? About her fear about how badly things were deteriorating in their family. So Miles knew what he didn't know that she was hurt or missing or gone, but he knew if they couldn't find Suzanne and Barry is saying he doesn't know what the hell's going on, then Miles was uncomfortable because of the implications. And at that point in time, at that moment in time, no one else out there knew what Miles knows, right? And he knows that. You can tell when he's talking to the cop, he's like, yeah, I'm like super close to the family, and this ain't good. You could almost hear him follow up by, this is not good. Like, this could be really bad. Now, then the dad comes up, and this other channel that was sort of, they weren't rude about Miles. They weren't, I'm not trying to say that, but they said, he just seemed kind of sketchy because he was super nervous, and he shouldn't have been nervous. Why would he be so nervous? Well, yeah, in fact, I would have been more surprised if he had not been really freaking out, right? That would have been more unusual to me if this, 17, 18-year-old kid who has firsthand knowledge about what's happening in this marriage, and the mom goes missing, and now he's the only one up there standing on their property, and the cops are going, hey, son, what you know? Of course he was terrified. Do you really think that this kid wants Barry Morphew mad at him? Everybody's afraid of Barry. So of course, I felt like if he had been all smooth and relaxed and rolling with the punches, I would have been far more suspicious in that situation. See him come out, see him really rattled and worried and, mouth dry, having a hard time swallowing. That was absolutely normal behavior given all of the various facts, correct? But then you also have to notice when his dad comes up, his dad and his sister, when they come up and now dad's there, what happens to Miles' fear? Now he calms down. Now he's confident. He feels protected. And now he really can get his head into it and and start thinking, right? I mean, he even said, going on the trailhead that was directly across the street from the parking area, that would have been really uncharacteristic for Suzanne to go up there. Because it typically she'd take her bicycle for an easy loadout area to just get on your bike and comfortably ride away, right? So he got really helpful and he was really engaged in his mind. But that only came when his dad was there and he once again felt, okay, the world's in balance. We can get through this. And in fact, when the dad notices, when it finally dawns on the dad, the implications of what's happening, Miles even kind of reaches out to his dad and says, hey, it's going to be all right. His dad kind of holds his hand around his throat and kind of moves away and utters the F-bomb. And Miles looks at him and said, hey, it's going to be okay. And, so now they're like supporting each other. You can tell they're a great family. Honestly, you can tell they're awesome. So I didn't see anything uncomfortable about Miles, or to me, I thought that was all exactly normal for the setting and the circumstances. Yeah, he was genuinely shook. And then Lulu Bell brings up an excellent point. And so then you fast forward, you look at the video when Barry and his little friend Georgie, when they're there, the cops come walking up and Barry gets out and goes, where is it? Where's the bicycle? I want you guys to go back and watch that video. And when he gets out and he says, where is it? Where's the bicycle? Tell me where his eyes are looking. Huh. That's weird, Barry. What? Are you psychic, big guy? So, right? Did anybody notice that? He didn't jump out. Most people, think about it. Most people, when you get out of your car, you pull up to a situation that something, urgent is going on. You jump out of your car and you go running forward, right? Whether you go running forward like in front of the truck or you go running backwards behind your car, the point is you don't slowly open the door and then walk right up to where a dead body is laying and then just stand there and say, where is it? Right? It's so contrived. Barry, you know what? The Academy wasn't impressed. You're a crappy actor. So anyway, yeah, thank you, Steady Nona. Hey, critters, welcome. Okay, so the fact that Nielsen and Eaton are as good as they are, how did Barry come up with these two women? My understanding, MJ, is that the girls actually got on the phone and the computer and began searching for defense attorneys. And with the very, very recent or relatively recent case of Tom Fallis, that the whole world was convinced that the guy was guilty of murdering his wife. Initially, the ruling had been made that it was a suicide. And then 2 years later, some reports of admitting that he killed her, and the old reports of neighbors hearing her screaming that night, they changed it, and they charged him with murder. So once all of the information came out, it looked really bad for Mr. Fallis. I mean, people believed that he was guilty. And what Nielsen and Eaton ended up doing was basically a circus act, right? And they put on their little circus clown show, and And the jury came back in less than 4 hours and said not guilty. So you know, there was enough. They had enough very public cases that they had been very successful. Nielsen had been identified as a 2019, 2020 attorney of the year, or I'm sorry, criminal defense attorney of the year, right? And then Eaton had this wildly dramatic win in a case related to sentencing of adolescents. And she won, and it basically changed the course of history in terms of what a judge can do when sentencing a underage criminal. Even though they've been found guilty, you're no longer allowed to give them life without parole. So both of these women, if the girls got online and just typed in, I need a great criminal defense attorney in Colorado, these would have been names 1 and 2 at the top of the list. So my understanding for how they ended up getting the job is that the girls started out. Barry had a court-appointed defender. The girl, after a couple of appearances in court, the girls then began this search for attorneys, and the girls went to Denver and spoke with Nielsen and Eaton, and they were the ones that actually, I think, hired them. I think Barry was found indigent. I don't think Barry had any. I think all of his assets had been transferred over to the girls. So, yeah, it's what's going on with Barry Morphew, the murder or the misplacing Suzanne Morphew. It's very difficult to understand. It is very difficult to understand how a man that has that much circumstantial evidence against him, that much dishonesty and proven lies against him, that ended up spending 6-8 months in jail waiting on a preliminary hearing, bypassing grand jury. It's very difficult to understand how somebody like that in these circumstances got a $500,000 bond, considering the amount of cash access he has. That is shocking. It is even more shocking than the $500,000 bail. It's even more shocking that the judge said, oh, you want to live in the multi-million-dollar, vacation house? Okay. Judge, I'm sorry, but Mr. Morphew, if he lives up in the Cushman residence, we're going to have a real problem with monitoring him. Oh, really? Well, why is that? Well, because there's not a signal out there, Judge. Like there's one cell phone tower that's like 20 miles away from the house. On any given moment, we may or may not catch a little bit of cell drift, that may come in the area. We won't know what he's doing. And yeah, the bracelet, it has an alert if somebody cuts it off. But if it's not attached to the system at the time that they cut it, then we don't get the alert. We'll never know that he cut it. We'll never know he's gone. Oh, well, that's okay. That's okay. Look, it's not going to be fair if I tell him first, yeah, you can go live at the Cushmans, and now I find this out, and I have to say, I'm so sorry, Barry. You're not going to be able to live at the Cushmans because we got to be able to put the ankle monitor on you. That just wouldn't be fair to Barry. I just don't want to disappoint Barry and tell him no after I already told him yes. Let's just let him. It'll be all right. It'll be okay. I mean, that's crazy. And I'm kind of making a joke out of it because that's the way I present things. But that's pretty much what happened. And then how about, oh, Judge, look, you have been so good to me. Like, you let me live in my $1 million, giveaway home. And you don't make me live in a place where I'm going to be hooked up to the monitor, and you guys don't have a clue what I'm doing, and you don't seem to care at all that I'm out there in the woods hunting with a compound bow. You just been really good to me, Judge. Like, you've been really good to me. But I'm still really uncomfortable, Judge. I just really want to be able to go to Gunnison. I already asked you one time. You told me no. It made me cry. But that was the mean old judge, and you're the good judge now. No drama, llama. Please let me go to Gunnison. Can't you tell Judge Llama how sweet I'm asking? Please, pretty please, with a cherry on top. I just want to go over to Gunnison like I asked before. I promise I'll be good. I promise. Look. Ask them. Those girls right there, they want me to go over to Gunnison. Ask them, Judge. He's our father. That's our family. It's our family, Judge. We need to be a family. Okay. Y'all are such a nice family. You all look like you're carved out of cream cheese. You're all so beautiful. I don't know why Judge Murphy was so mean and wouldn't let Barry go to Gunnison. So I know I'm being, facetious, right? But it does illustrate my frustration with what's happening. You agree? What about your mama? There you go, DB. And that's what went through my mind. This whole thing about, oh, we got to be a family. We got to be a family. Well, you didn't seem, or Barry didn't seem too concerned about being a family when his wife was around. In fact, the gossip in Salida, Chaffee County, is that Barry was actually rarely home. She was alone a lot. Hey, Martin. Yeah, 3/4 of a family, but who's counting, Martin? Right. What Barry wants, Barry gets. So, look, there's some strange... Martin. Oh no, Martin's in Saudi Arabia, aren't you, Martin? Yeah, I don't know. I'm frustrated by the whole thing related to this legal process. But I will say this, because I did have some people say to me, wait. I'm so confused, Jules. Why are you celebrating the change of venue? Like, that was requested by the defense. So why would you be happy? Because you're on Team Suzanne. Well, I'm happy because I'm very uncomfortable with what's happening in Chaffee County. They've lost my confidence. And I'm not saying anything that they don't know what they're doing, or that they're corrupt, or that they're... I have no idea why the decisions have been made. I just know that the decisions that they have been made are not really consistent with what you would really normally expect to hear. Right. And you have to ask yourself why. What's happening? This is odd. So I am happy that it's being moved to Fremont, and here's why. Because it gives me another opportunity to have trust in the process. No matter what ends up unfolding, what ends up happening, in the end, thank you. In the end, I want to be able, when there's a verdict, whether it's guilty or not guilty, I want to be able to have confidence that to trust the process, to trust what happened, that the people that ultimately were responsible for that guilt or not guilty, that they were honest and that they were following the rules, right? That's where it was granted, MJ. Yes, it was granted. So that's why I'm glad that it's going to Fremont. The other reason that I'm glad is because now I can just fly into Colorado Springs and the courthouse will be very close by instead of it, taking a mission to get there. So that'll be a really good thing. All right. So that's my frustration with the whole Barry Morphew thing. And I wanted to kind of answer for people that were like, but Jules, you used to be so positive. What happened? Well, Martin used to be positive too. He's over there in Saudi Arabia. He used to enjoy the belly dancing, and now he got all messed up in this whole Barry Morphew drama, and now he can't even enjoy the damn belly dancers anymore. It's bad. It's chaos. Yeah. And we hold Nielsen and Eaton responsible for no more belly dancers for Martin. Just not fair. Okay. I'm kidding about Martin. He may or may not enjoy belly dancers. I don't know. It was a joke. Okay. Now then. It is closer to civilization, Allie. Yes, absolutely. All right. And better hotels, right? So, okay. So, Corey Bigsby. So the baby is Cody. Cody, they don't have a timeline. They don't know what to believe. The damn dad is playing all kinds of crazy games. And now you got defense attorneys who are sketchy as hell, and some political activists screaming and yelling at the chief of police because the dad of a missing baby, well, by God, his civil rights were violated. His civil rights were violated because he didn't ask for an attorney, and so the cops didn't give him one. I think you have to ask. So later tonight, I'm going to come back and I'm going to talk about Cody Bigsby. Okie dokie. All right. Okay. So I just wanted to say hey, and I wanted to respond to the whole Barry Morphew, why am I not being positive and all that. And I want to talk, I'm going to jump off into this Cody Bigsby case with both feet, because this is one of those kinds of cases that is interesting. It's got a lot of moving pieces. It's complicated, and there's room for discord. All right. Okay. So hopefully I'll see you guys later on tonight. Okay. All right. Y'all better go grab you a Whataburger before it starts freezing. Talk to you later. Bye.